The river Neckar is a tributary of the river Rhine, located in the south of Germany, flowing mostly through the federal state of Baden-Württemberg and partly through Hessen. It has a total length of 362 kilometers and a basin area of 14,000 square kilometers, containing narrow valleys formed by deepening in the limestone plateau and underlying sandstone, and broader valleys formed by the flow widening in morphologically soft clays and marls. Through anthropogenic impoundments, the Neckar has been made suitable for shipping between the city of Blochingen and the river Rhine. Major ports include Stuttgart, Heilbronn and Mannheim, with dense populations in the areas around these ports and other large cities along the river. Channelization, embankments, the harnessing of hydroelectric power with the highest density of power plants in Germany, and other anthropogenic measures have altered the river structure and flow dynamics. Former richly structured ecosystems in and along the river have been completely wiped away. The shippable part of the Neckar, with the length of 202 kilometers between Mannheim and Blochingen, is interrupted by 27 impoundment steps, with 48 transverse structures. Due to these structural changes, migratory fish, such as salmon, sea trout and shad, no longer had a viable path along the river to return to spawning grounds. In addition, severed connections between the tributaries of the river Neckar have led to a large reduction in diversity, with only the species relatively undemanding of resources able to survive. So, how can we bring ecological variety back to the shippable Neckar sections and overcome these problems? That brings up a couple of questions, namely, who is responsible for the Neckar, and who is going to pay for these expensive renaturation projects? The Neckar section from Blochingen to Mannheim is legally defined as an inland waterway and therefore owned by the state. The management of the Neckar is in the hands of the waterways and shipping offices of Stuttgart and Heidelberg. Of course, depending on the sections of the river, the stakeholders include other cities and associations such as the fishing associations and water sport associations. To implement a renaturation project like this, there is a necessity of overcoming jurisdictional limits between the state that owns the waterway and the owners of the land next to the river. To talk about costs, let's take a look at one of the largest restoration projects along the river, the pilot project Zugwiesen. Overall, the restoration project Zugwiesen cost approximately 8 million euros. The city of Ludwigsburg has carried the largest share of the costs, roughly 4 million euros out of the ecological account of Ludwigsburg. The Water and Shipping Authority contributed an additional 2.8 million euros. With 600,000 euros from the Verband Region Stuttgart, 400,000 from the state of Baden-Württemberg and 350,000 euros from the Glücksspirale Fund of the Ministry of Environment. During the pilot project Zugwiesen, recently completed in June, between Neckar-Vaihingen and Poppenweiler in Ludwigsburg, 17 hectares of meadow landscape were created. The goal was to create a variety of habitats for plants and animals, as they existed decades ago in this area and had become so scarce that they could hardly be found. Additionally, a main goal was to allow the opportunity for people to enjoy this unique landscape as a recreational area without disturbing the habitats. To achieve the separation between people and habitat, a new route concept was developed, keeping the flow of visitors away from protected areas while improving people's experience of water and the floodplain through guided paths and designated observation areas. As a second measure, the city of Ludwigsburg also employs guides, who lead tours educating the public about the project and the habitats. They also offer kindergarten and primary school classes, free adventure guides along the Neckar. Children are educated in environmental science with playful elements and learn about animals, plant life, and ecological relationships in Neckar habitats. To address the blockage of fish migration, a stream was constructed, bypassing the Poppenweiler Dam and locks. The dam created a slow flow area of water, changing the ecosystem of the river, and blocked these fish from traveling upstream. Now there is a consistent 1.7 kilometers long connection with the flow rate control through bioengineering measures. The stream width varies between 3 to 5 meters and offers animals a continuous habitat for the first time since the construction of the dam. To restore other natural habitats along the river that existed before the river flow was artificially straightened for shipping, parts of the levees and 800 meters of concrete riverbed were cut out to create connected standing water bodies. The connection of these still waters to the Neckar is intended to facilitate settlements of typical aquatic species. Due to the creation of different current strengths in different areas, nurseries were formed for many different species for spawning. The gradually sloping riparian zones support reeds and other vegetation, which provide an ideal habitat for warblers and other birds. These standing water bodies also provide new spawning grounds for amphibians that hibernate in the nearby forests. The project Zugwiesen is linked with other environmental projects, creating a cohesive ecosystem between the dams in Remseck and Marbach, in which many animal and plant species can develop and thrive. The great success of this project shows that there can be a balance between ecological diversity and the usage of the river as a shipping waterway. The goal must be to expand this type of environmental redevelopment throughout the Neckar.